Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 22nd of February 2022. All the twos today, isn't it? Anyway, I woke up to the rather unwelcome news from Canada that their parliament there has voted in, albeit by a reasonably narrow margin, to have the emergency powers for 30 days. Yeah, not great. Canada's day of infamy, I would suggest. Although, looking on the bright side, guys, at least you know who the bad uns are now, don't you? That's the way I kind of looked at things here in the UK when our Parliament voted in favour of the, well, albeit now scrapped sort of passports. But again, we know who the bad eggs are. So just taking a little bit of positivity out of the situation there is always good when you get these bits of bad news. Talking of news, I saw a day or two ago that apparently the Queen has tested positive for a certain thing, and her symptoms are described as mild cold-like symptoms. Now, you know me by now, and I'm sure you've come to realise that I'm not exactly a wild, rebellious character, but I'm going to be a little bit wild and a little bit rebellious now, and suggest that maybe, just maybe, that the reason why she has got cold-like symptoms is because she's got an actual cold, perhaps? Honestly, madness. And even the Queen is getting in on the silliness of the whole thing. Just to go on to a slightly more serious subject. Well, those two fairly serious, but I went to the curry night, Stand in the Park curry night on a couple of nights ago, Sunday night, and we go to this really, really nice Indian restaurant where the food is fabulous, and of course the company is great as well. Really, really good night, but I was sitting opposite this lady who was saying that she has visited Auschwitz. It's kind of a museum now, and you can go there and kind of look around the whole place. I should think it is a very harrowing, sad experience, thing to do, but probably pretty important that as many people as possible does that experience maybe at least once in their lifetime. Might just persuade a few people that things like that vote in Canada that I just mentioned might not be quite such a good idea after all, because that is the top of the slippery slope, and places like Auschwitz are at the bottom of the slippery slope. But anyway, she was saying that when she visited the place, she was just saying how, as you might expect, the whole vibe of the place is extremely, it's almost palpable, or is palpable, just how bad the vibe is at that place. And she was saying that birds, even to this day, don't fly over the place. Grass doesn't grow. Don't know if it's in the whole of the camp or just where the ovens used to be, but grass doesn't grow. And yeah, just the whole vibe of the place is really, really bad. And I could kind of relate to what she was saying, because I've been to many, many years ago, I visited Alcatraz prison, sort of just off the coast of San Francisco there. And it's disused now. It's just a kind of a museum that you can go and visit. But boy, oh boy, I could hardly wait to get off the place, off the island. It was because, again, the atmosphere was just so heavy, and oh dear, it kind of just made you sort of feel nauseous and sick, because I don't talk about spirituality on this channel a lot, but I have got a spiritual side to me. I've experienced things, and yeah, I know deep down that I am a spiritual being, and it's experiences like that that make you realise that it really is a huge part of humanity. And you can go into these places like Alcatraz and Auschwitz, which must be 100 times worse, I would think, than what I felt in Alcatraz. And you just get this heavy, horrible vibe. And it's because your soul, your spirit can sense that evil has gone on there, I think. And you just know, and other living things like birds, as I was saying a minute ago, kind of know on a deep level that evil has stalked that particular, or those particular bits of land, and bad things happen there, very bad things, and that even if 50, 100 years have gone by, these sort of places are still best avoided. And yeah, I just think that spirituality is such an important side of things. And I think people go on about our current situation as being a spiritual battle. And yeah, I very much agree with that. It really is a spiritual battle. We're certainly not going to win this with bombs and bullets and tanks and anything like that, but we are going to win this with our sort of strength of spirit, because that's the other side. That's the powers that shouldn't be. That's their weakness. They haven't got any soul. They've sold their souls, and therefore, because they haven't got any soul or any spirituality, they just haven't got empathy. They haven't got creativity, which is why they just keep doing the same old things and don't kind of come up with creative new ways of doing things like we do. And you can hardly describe Trudeau's Emergency Powers Act as being creative. It's pretty predictable, really. And that is why we are going to win this thing, our spirituality. And I think I mentioned it in one of my videos yesterday, those scenes of the police in Ottawa getting heavy with the protesters, and instead of the protesters fighting back with fists and boots and things flying, they just, a lot of the time, they just either stood there or even sort of got down on both knees and began either singing or praying. And just those images, you can tell who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. And I would suggest that if you are one of the bad guys, one of those police or sort of people in authority, bureaucrats. And by the way, that thing about the pets that I talked about on Friday's video, where they're talking about taking pets away from the truckers who are attending these protests and putting them into dog homes and euthanizing them if they stay there too long. That is apparently a true story. I didn't know if that's true or not, but it is a true story. And yeah, what kind of sick, evil mind would even contemplate doing that, let alone putting that into action? So it is becoming very clear who the good guys and the bad guys are. And if you are one of these people in authority, one of these police, you need to get on the right side of history, and please do it soon. And if you do it now, the likes of us will just sort of see it as, you know, bygones will be bygones, and you'll be welcomed with open arms. But you do need to make the decision to get on the right side of history pretty quickly now. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Tim from Fair Play Now. Thanks for watching.